The show will start in just a few minutes, so give these guys a lot of energy, okay?
The South Asian Awareness Network and Michigan Sahana present Bloom, an interdisciplinary performance that aims to increase awareness about sexual assault and empower survivors. The story you will hear tonight is true and written by an anonymous college student. We hope Bloom contributes to a culture of a more open conversation around sexual assault and mental well-being within the South Asian community and beyond. The content of today may be triggering, so we have booked a separate room filled with self-care activities if you need to step out. There is more information on the resources page of the booklet. Also, there is no food or drink allowed in the studio. Thank you and welcome to Bloom.
ma pa da ni sa ma pa da ni ma pa da ni sa sa da ni re sa.
As I walk home, I text two people. My feelings are generally positive. Look at me, getting out there. And I sleep fairly peacefully, proud of myself for embracing my body, because it is not something I am good at embracing.
Dear Emma, I'm sorry it took me so long to tell you. I suppose I had a right to be scared, or angry, and took charge in a way that no one had been. But I wasn't scared for quite the right reasons. I was afraid of your face and the tone of your voice, and the judgment for ever going there in the first place. Thank you for coming to see me, for traveling the 700 miles by the end of the day, for getting on a plane and refusing to take my estimation of self-stability at face value. I needed someone to take me to the doctor, to hold my hand, to lie in bed with me and watch ridiculous rom-coms, to tell me that I was going to be okay, that this would not ruin my life. This was always your strong suit, taking control of the situation, and for you, I am grateful. For me, who desires control above almost all else, the tremendous loss of that control was so overwhelming that you were the only person who knew how to get it back from me. Is it only mothers who know us better than we know ourselves? Is it only mothers who know the right thing to do? Is it only mothers who can shoulder their daughter's trauma to lessen her burden?
I see him in the local coffee shop and decide that I need to talk to him, to tell him that what happened was not okay. I text him and he agrees to meet later in the day. He tells me that men have no control of their penises, that I should know that because there must be research about it, and that the solution to sexual assault is to not trust men, to not trust him. I don't use the terms consent, sexual assault, or rape because I don't want to be labeled as overreactive or hysterical. I tell him that I want him to commit to never acting this way again. He tells me that malicious rape occurs all the time and that we should be focusing on addressing that issue instead. Fucking men, he tells me. Men suck. I know.
Dear Dad, I feel like this is on the list of things you never wanted your daughter to experience. The top 10 list of horrible, terrible, awful things that keep a parent up at night. Last week, we were driving late enough in the day that it was dark outside and only the lights of the buildings could illuminate our faces. I was telling you about therapy, and one of the most helpful things my therapist had told me in our last session. You asked how I was paying for this therapy, how I managed to find someone who was so supportive and helpful. I reminded you that there's this law called VOCA, Victims of Crime and Abuse, that mandates free mental health care to those who have experienced sexual violence among other traumas. I think you were hoping that the shadows of the late afternoon would hide the tear that escaped your eye as you reached for my hand. It breaks my heart that you cry for me, Dad. Why must I cause you pain in my attempts to lessen my own hurt?
wants to talk, even though he's sorry to bring it up again, because he wants to make sure we're on the same page. This time, I'm not afraid to tell him that what happened was sexual assault, that most people I've told have called it rape, and that by law, that's what it was. He asks if I see him differently now than I did before and seems shocked when I tell him that I've lost respect for and trust in him. He tells me that this rumor will follow him for the rest of his life, that it will keep him from doing good things, that it will keep him from making positive change in the world. I tell him that what he did will follow me for the rest of my life, that I honestly don't think that this will impact the rest of his life much at all. He says he doesn't want to keep explaining the story to people who hear the rumor because he doesn't want it to become a he said, she said, because he thinks my story and my voice carry more weight than his. I ask him what story exactly he is telling. He says that I should have listened to, and I didn't. And so I say, I think we're telling the same story. He asks me what I need from him. He says that I've scared the living daylights out of him about 7 times. I feel strong. It's been 2 months. I have a breakdown in the bathroom after seeing a graphic about survivors and what survivors look like, how they act, how they feel. This is the first time I've cried uncontrollably about the incident, and I don't know why I'm crying. It is one of those full body cries that keeps you from breathing and gives you the hiccups.
Dearest younger brother, I have quite a few years on you, 5 to be exact, and I think this number will feel less consequential as we grow older. For now, though, it feels like I have felt so much more of life, like I have lost the youthful hope that you carry and the faith in humanity that gives you the light in your eyes. Maybe this is because you were the sheltered child. Explicitly even, our mother told me that I was to protect you, but you felt so childish, so free, so pure. I'm still not exactly sure what gave me the overwhelming feeling that you needed to know. I knew the way you looked up to me, the way you felt I walked on water, the depth of love that you felt for me. I knew that watching a bit of childhood, a bit of hope fall from someone's face and harden their soft features would be painful for me. Maybe because you were a 16-year-old boy who was still growing into himself, who was still open to the ways in which society encourages certain people to act in certain ways in certain situations, and I felt the need to protect you from those who may hurt you. I suppose there must have been some component of fearing that you could hurt someone in the same way he hurt me. But I feel like we both know that you have too much of a gentle soul, too much love for others, too much compassion and respect to ever act in that way. Please forgive me for taking a slice of your childhood from you, for pushing you forward into the cynicism that 20-somethings like me have grown to possess, for lessening your belief in the good of the world and of people, for muddying my pure image in your mind, for spreading my pain to you.
I am doubting my memory. I know this happens to people, that they start to doubt their realities, that they start to doubt the facts, but it feels like the facts are more gaseous than solid. I hold on to comments he made about the inside of my body to validate my experiences. I am angry that I am doubting the truth and allowing his narrative, his concern with his reputation without a single concern for his actions or for my well-being, to rule my mind. Where did my strength go? I want it back.
To the one who caused me harm. You are not a dear person to me, and I will not address you as such. I feel like all I have been able to do is unload the pain you caused me onto others. Those others are people I love and people who love me, but they are also unassuming acquaintances who do not even know why they are being pelted with the bits of hurt that I unwillingly lodge at them. And yet, even as I attempt to unload, I do not feel like the burden is lessening or the weight is lifting. Instead, I uncover more hurt, more pain, because I have become a person who moves through the world, and by doing so makes the worse. Do you feel this pain too? Dear audience, the purpose of this performance is to demonstrate that there is not one path or narrative of healing. It's different for each and every person, and that healing is not linear. Ways of coping and moving forward look different for everyone. Traumatic impact can take weeks, months, years to hit and process. The presence or absence of sadness, anger, withdrawal, anxiety, or paranoia does not validate some experiences over others.
We need to believe in a better world, one in which we hold everyone to higher standards of respect. Men cannot be written off as impulsive and uncontrolled. When men themselves subscribe to this rhetoric, we limit our ability as a community to change, grow, and be better. When people are concerned more with their reputation than with the hurt they have inflicted, we lose our footing in the fight to address trauma and pain. Sincerely.